showdown.
We've been hearing all.
You've been hearing owls.
Yeah.
Which ones? You know?
We've been hearing great
That one?
news.
No,
Yeah, she says she has one eye.
the one I hear, is three sounds. Might be rare.
Well, maybe you'll hear about one today that, I have barn owls in my neighborhood. Hard to hear occasionally. Yeah. For you all, is the one that barn owl. Anything else? There's been an exciting bird.
Been a brand hanging down in Holland for.
I was down in North Carolina last week, and as we were driving south, I saw this WhatsApp alert for Ottawa County birders come through. There's a brant at window on the waterfront, and I'm looking at my husband, how far have we gone? Can we turn away? And then I watched the reports all week, and they say the brant was still being seen, and I got back at 9 o'clock Friday night, and at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, I was down in Holland finding and saw the brant, so that was exciting. The brant, that's a pretty good bird to have around. Anybody else? Beth?
There was a harlequin duck, 2 harlequin ducks this morning off the Holland Pier, right? And the harlequin duck off the Muskegon Pier during the week this week. Those are very special.
I've never seen
Don't
one.
forget to check the piers.
Were they all female?
The
One
one in
today was a
Muskegon
male.
was male, and I think the pair this morning was a male and a female.
Okay.
I think. Mark Parker found those? Yeah.
Anything else? I know we want to hear about owls, so. Roger Fark, where are you? Roger brought a display of owls and owl paraphernalia back here. Do you want to say anything about those? I really appreciate you bringing those tonight.
Probably one of the outstanding specimens over there is a solid owl that one of my bird captures in my network. It was a window kill, and got it 2 weeks ago, and I was able to stuff it in the basement out of the sight of my wife. Unfortunately, I had, I think, about 4 owls, which I turned over to Hawkmeasure State Park Saturday. I wish I had kept several of those because those would have fit in very nice tonight. But that little saw is over there, and you can take a look at it. Also, I have some other owl parts. I have a state collector's permit, so if you come across any road kills or window kills, give me a call. But when you call, don't say that you have any birds, just leave a message. My wife gets a little upset. But I do have some owl feathers over there. I have a barred owl, which is a flat mounted. Some specimens, if they're in pretty good shape, I stand them up, but a lot of them are flat mounted because they're easy to handle. And there's some study guides over there, help yourself. If you have any questions, my card's over there.
Thank you, Roger. You are always a great source of information about all sorts of things. He has helped us in the past with other events and brought things, so thank you for bringing those tonight. I appreciate it. That Northern Solomon owl is just, all right. So, we have a great speaker tonight. Well, I hope he's great. I haven't actually heard him speak before. The topic sounds fabulous. No. I'm giving him a hard time because I know that he's a friend of Curtis Dykstra's, who we like to tease a lot when we're out on walks with the county park system, and Curtis is leading us, and we give him a hard time. I was giving him a particularly hard time recently because he has scheduled his Mug Club photo contest reveal simultaneously to this beach. And I said, Curtis, how could you do this? Michael is one of your best birding best friends and birding companions. How could you, do this to us? And he had all kinds of excuses. He put it on the calendar a year ago when he made the new calendar. But OIS always has their programs the third Tuesday of the month. Like, put that on the calendar for next. Anyway, so some of you may be surreptitiously looking at your phones to see who's winning who wins the Mud Club photo and honors tonight, but please, I would advise you can check that out later, and let's give Michael Overway our full attention so that we can learn from his experience, his fabulous experience, and his goal he set for himself, and I'm eager to learn to see how he does it. So, Michael Overway.
All right. Don't go there.
Don't go
Testing, by the way,
away.
testing. Testing. Are we sounding? Not on?
No, it's on.
They say it's on. All right. Hey, thanks for having me tonight. It's an honor to be here. Looks like a pretty good crowd. Is that true?
Very good crowd.
Seems like it to me. I'm from Holland. I'm a Holland Audubon member. I'm a Holland Audubon Club, excuse me. And been on the board there, so I know it's valuable to have paying members to support this kind of thing. I don't know if you guys pay rent here, they give it to you.
We do not pay rent here.
Oh,
The
see,
library
we pay rent.
is very gracious.
Even more so down there. But yeah, they pay the speakers and the various things you guys have. So give it some thought if you would to join your local clubs. I am not a polished speaker. I'm a carpenter. I don't sit in an office and talk to people and work HR, so this is just as it comes. In this case. Thanks for coming. Good. This will be a little bit of an interactive discussion. If I misspeak on something that is important, speak up. Just let me know. If I am not coming up with a word, help me out. You got a question? Just raise your hand. I don't care. Yes, ma'am.
Could you move the water bottle down?
Move the what? See? I got no problem. We're good. Anything else?
Also, if you do get questions, would you repeat the question because you're on mic and that makes it easier for our viewing audience
And
at
will you
home?
remind me to repeat the question?
You bet.
Very good. I'm an avid birder, but I gotta admit, last few years I've kind of pulled away from it a little bit because my most favorite thing is to find the rare thing. Like we're talking about the brant or the harlequins in Holland. I went down the rabbit hole several years ago. After 4 failed chases to the UP, I decided to pull back a bit. And so I love birding, but I don't do it as much as I used to. This type of thing really gets me. I love competition. I love treasure hunting. So things like finding shark teeth and euperlites, if you know what those are, up in the UP. Copper up in the Keweenaw, bluestones, shells, all that kind of stuff just interests me. So finding a rare bird or a quest, a list, just really what I enjoy doing. So that's at the heart of what's going on here tonight. Couple disclaimers. We're going to talk about my favorite. I hate it. I'm so sick of talking about COVID. But it comes up, and I understand that we all got different opinions on that, and I'll respect your opinion, and unfortunately, you have to respect mine. I personally didn't care much about it. Just trying to do the best we could with what we had, but I traveled while it was going on, and that's going to come out. So I'm just putting that out there. And then also, bothers some people that some of us birders use tapes to attract birds. I do it, try to do it sensibly, but I understand there's a wide gamut of opinions on that. So just putting it out there for you. Anything else I should mention? I don't think so. So let's get going. Started out with a comment. You mentioned Curtis Dykstra. Yeah, good birder, friend of mine, works at Hemlock Nature, Hemlock Crossings Nature Center. And we went to Arizona in 2015, I believe. And he made an offhand comment. He said, hey, you know, we live in Michigan, we're going to Arizona. If you're really lucky, you can see all the owls in 1 year. And that just stuck with me. We did not make an effort to do it, but it stuck with me, right? So, where is my clicker? There we go. Hey, I forgot this one. Let me mention first. I love maps. So you're going to see several maps. I love knowing where I'm at. it bothers you, you're gonna have to just close your eyes. We're gonna give some credit to Sibley Birds and Bird app and Merlin Bird app. That's what most of the pictures are from with regards to range maps and information. Owl Stats from Sibley Birds app, Owl Status from Cornell, photos, either they're mine or I put the credit on the photo. And the cover slide, I have no idea, I just pulled it off the image and I liked it. I would love to put that on my living room wall, but my wife won't let me. So here we go, 19. It's, if you don't know, number of North American regularly occurring owls. And it was my quest to try to photograph them all in 1 year. And as I was saying, Curtis pointed out, if you're lucky enough, you can see all 19 in just the 2 states. So again, that was at the root of this. 2020 started out normal year. I wasn't under any obligation or any thought to doing anything, but someone found a long-eared owl at Millennium Park. Does anyone know who that was? I tried to find an eBird, but the rare bird stuff won't let you look at the reports of long-eared owl, so I couldn't recall who that was. But someone found long-eared owl out there and stayed for quite a couple of them at least, and a lot of people went out there. I went out on the 5th and got to see it, and long-eared owls like to hang out in this garbage, so you won't get a very good look. You pick it out? Very good. Sometimes that's about the best view you're gonna get. Whatever. We saw a long-eared owl, cool. Life's going on. All of a sudden we got a plan. Curtis asked me, hey, why don't we do an owl big day? I know where a long-eared owl is, I know where a saw-whet owl is, and he knows where the other 5 or 6 of them are, and so we're gonna give this effort. Well, and he asked me, I thought, hey, you know what? I kinda wanna go to Arizona this year again. Let's put this together. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'd like to see a photograph, all of them in 1 year. So the plan was, all right, I saw the long-eared, great. Hopefully long-eared is there at the park yet on the 16th, and he knew where all these other ones were. Cool. We're gonna, yeah, I got this, that works. I make a trip up into the UP, and I got extremely lucky. You can ask Chase how lucky that would be. You could pick off a few of those northern owls, but we had backup plans. I intended to go to Florida in spring break and get a barn owl down there, and also get burrowing owl if you're in the right area. Arizona's got the rest of them, including burrowing owl. We got a little quick weekend trip in Colorado. I like Colorado, so we can trap a boreal there and flame related if it doesn't work out in Arizona, which I've heard is tough. And finally, Zach Zim Bog has your winter owls too. In fact, a much better chance to get them there. So that was the plan. And plans can change, as we'll find out. Our day started out at Millennium Park, and long-ear wasn't there. And northern saw-whet wasn't there. So we started off with a bang. We headed out for great horned owl. Let me say a little bit about this card. It's got some pictures out of Sibley's of the owl, and just some information. I'm not going to read it. You just clean off of what you want, and then the range map. If you're not familiar, purple is year-round, orange is summer, winter is in blue over there, yellow in migration. Got any questions about it, let me know. We're going to keep moving along. So Curtis drags me over to I-96, excuse me, up north of Alpine, west of where Alpine crosses, and because that's where you want to go birding, is on the interstate. And he knew where that little nest was, right there. And so that's probably a blown up image. We did not cross the interstate for this. And there he was. All right, so we got, what was that, 2 down? But 1 for the day. And I'm going to throw in a few pictures throughout that either aren't owls or it's a better shot of an owl, just for your eye candy. This was shot in 2019 in the Anza Park, or the Anza Trail, excuse me, in Portal, Arizona. Not Portal, help me out.
Too bad.
Starts with a T.
Too bad.
That one, thank you. And there was a young one in the tree next to it, and unfortunately the other one was on the ground and breathing. But it was cool to see those guys. Anyway, so Curtis moves us along. We're going to go to Reed's Park, Reed's Lake, by Calvin College, and that's all we saw. You can look as hard as you want, but there's no owl in there. So what, strike 3 we're up to for the day? We weren't doing well. He takes me out to Lake Odessa area. Snowy owls like to hang out in fields. Unlike the wooded photo I saw of the snowy owl on the line recently. Oh, that was terrible. And of course you knew where to go. Telephone pole, snowy owl. Next stop, short-eared owl. This one showed up in north of Holland a few years back. Carol and Judy's photo there. So that was cool. It was at a friend of mine's house. It shows up every once in a while. Sits right on his trailer tongue there, and right in the driveway. Kind of interesting. Anyway, so he's going to drag me off northeast of Hastings, and we're going to try to find short-eared owl. Short-eared owls can roost in ditches. I've heard that from Muskegon Wastewater. And so we headed for some ditches before it got to dusk. And this guy showed up. How do I play this? When it's on that screen? I forgot. Look at that. So we saw this coming out of the ditch. And saw a little floppy fly, a little dark under the wings. And wasn't an owl, it was just a harrier. But harriers are cool. So it's fun to watch. A little scratchy here. I probably should. It was fun to watch that guy for a while. We did find an owl pellet alongside the road in that area. Excuse me. Thank you. Now we're waiting for dust to settle in, and several birders are around, including the Kleins. And it is crazy cold that night. You'll notice Curtis is wearing a skirt. I promised to point that out, just to have a little fun with him. Well, after a while, one came out of the dark and into the west and flew across our path, the field we were watching, and we got to see that one. That's not what I wanted. No. What'd you do? I tried. Anywho, got a little bit of a video of it. One of them anyway. 4 more across the field that night. So we got to see 5. And that's the most I've ever seen in one night.
Where were you at?
Northeast of Hastings. I'd have to look up the address for you. Yep, just out in the fields out that way. The short-eared owl. Yeah. Yep. I'm not a professional video person, as you can see. I'm not a professional photographer, so I just grab what I can, and it's the best I got to offer. So again, this was the Kleins that found this, and not long afterwards, Doug spoke at Holland Autobahn, and he had told me that they get long-eareds at their house frequently. Well, I spoke to him after his presentation, and said, hey, there's one came back, can I be there tomorrow? And he had my mom and I over, and so we went down to check him out, and sure enough, the bird was hanging out in these pines, and once again, quite obscured, but there it was. So it's 2 from deer, and before this, it was hard to get 1, right? So we're doing pretty good. Anne had something to show me, which is unfortunate, but was really cool to see. She had found a roadkill long-eared that morning, and yes, it's sad. And then when we moved past that, it was extremely cool to handle this thing. It was still extremely flexible. Its eyes were still full and literally looked alive yet. And she didn't have a source for it, so I was able to bring it to Hemlock. And if we want to give Curtis some more gear, tell him to get that thing mounted, because I think it's still sitting in the freezer. If you're not aware, the ears on the side of an owl's head are offset, I believe, to help with figuring out where something is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's cool to play around with the ears there. So the next day, I left for the UP. And obviously I want to get all the winter owls that I can, and the easiest one is probably going to be Solid. And you can see it the year round in our area supposedly. I kind of doubt that, but any comments, Chase? Are they around us year round, or just hard to find, or what?
There's probably more around than we think.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had them in the Elegant State Game Area in the summer before,
in the summer.
and there's plenty around in winter.
So that would be fair. Just gotta do your due diligence and
Yeah.
get out there and find them. Very good. Will this video play? Nope. It's just clicking. We'll just leave it. That's fine. This is all I saw of Solid Owl over 3 days in the UP. However, I heard like 8 of them, perhaps. I don't remember exactly. A couple of them near Lake City on 55, get toward Holton Lake, and the board, of course, starts to pick up there a little bit. So I was able to hear a couple of them there, or perhaps the same one that moved. Heard them on Sugar Island, and then over toward Eckerman, I believe, from UP. But I could not get eyes on any of the northern owls. So it was a bit of a strikeout, but it was fun to hear. Love hearing owls. Said I'd play a couple to one of your staff members here, your board people. I can give you a little solid. Speaker still on, or maybe not? So I couldn't see it, but listening to that thing's pretty cool at night. If I don't play one of the other owls you want to hear, just ask me. I'll probably forget, so feel free to speak up. A couple days later, we got this lovely date, and if I have the date correct, you know what that is? And we shut down. And, so travel shut down, we can't go anywhere, you're not supposed to anyway. And I kind of put the plan right there. So what do you do? It is what it is. There's still birds out there, and we were able to go outside, right? So we'll keep birding. However, we have a consolation prize. As it progressed a little bit, a few states were allowing some travel, weren't so tight on the restrictions. My brother and I decided to go to Alaska. We're going to forget the rest of this effort, and we're just going to go to Alaska and have fun. And I'll say more about that in a minute. So we kept birding through the spring. Eastern screech owl. Maybe while I got it, we can throw that one up for you. So Eastern screech owl's been hanging around in Stu Vista Park, Stu Vista Trails in the Holland area. And if you don't know where that is, you can ask me afterwards. And this particular year was a great year for the screech owl at Stu Vista. The date is on a few of these photos. April 18, I saw the male in this wood duck box. April 28, we got the female, barely. And that is the nest box. May 2, same bird. Same day, but later in the walk. They'd switch places, and then I got a couple of young ones. In a minute, I want you to imagine how full that box is. In a minute, you'll understand why. My brother calls me up, what was the date, like the 15th or something, I forget, 19th? I think it was 19th or so. We'll see it in a minute, maybe. Brother says, hey, you want me to get over here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wandering. brother calls me up and said, hey, the screech owls are out. And so I raced down to Stu Visser, and it is hard to pick out, but there's Mom. I forget, Dad is somewhere buried in here. And there are 8 young ones right there. Eight. Yep. Someone told me that's about the most you'll get. Any other comments on that? I didn't know it. And so while this is a typical owl for us, the sighting was tremendous. Stu Visser Trail, what we call it, the horseshoe walk or bend or whatever, kind of almost to the end of that, right alongside the trail. I mean, right me to the screen. May 19th. This is Mom.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I'll try it again. I don't seem to be able to have your touch here. I love its foot moving right in this little right here. He's doing this little bit. We had 4 people standing there, and it did not care we were there. And everyone was being respectful, so it's just watching everything else about nature, not us. We were doing our best to be quiet. So it's just really fun to watch this guy. And they were starting to wake up. It was getting toward dusk. And it doesn't do much more exciting, so I'm going to move on. There's the male again, just maybe 6 to 10 feet away. And there are some of the young ones. That's what we found. Let's see. We let dusk and dark. Yes, sir.
Sorry, but where's this in Stu Visser? Like, where are the owls?
I'm sorry?
Where are the owls in Stu Visser? Like, where were they in Stu Visser?
Anyone here? I got
Where were the owls?
In Stu Visser, where were the owls?
Specifically, are you familiar with the parking lots?
Yeah.
You familiar with the trail?
2 on either end.
Park at the south parking lot. Walk up the trail that's on the west side of the parking lot. You look to your left after a while, you'll see the box that you saw in the picture. If you go straight out, you cross a path and you get onto a lookout looking over the horseshoe pond. Right across the water there is that beat up box that the male was photoed in. You walk around the horseshoe to probably about 30 feet from the end. That's where they were at the time, but they move around, so you can get that stuff in there. But, yeah, they like that box. My brother and I actually put a box up years ago, and someone decided to move that one. I don't know why, but that box is somewhere else in the park. But they both have gotten owls. So yeah, the new box is there, and the old box is somewhere else. Barn owl. When you're done. That's the one I brought it. May 16th, so it's a couple days before the screech owl, but my brother and I, sorry. We're gonna stop in about 2 seconds. My brother and I did a big day in Ottawa County. If you're not familiar with the big day is, just like the big owl year, it's an effort to see all the birds you can in one day, hear or see. And my brother and I were successful in 146 species in Ottawa County, which I haven't heard of better, but I would love to hear if someone has beat that, just so I can try harder next time. But 2020 in the spring, if you were out birding, the warblers that spring were incredible. We had 20 species or so just at the parking lot at Ottawa Sands. And you walk up just that little bit of a ridge where you can see the water right there. We didn't move for a half hour. And it was fantastic. To give props to Ty Wagonmaker, he had 145 by himself the same day. Had I known he was doing it, I would have teamed up with the guy, but we did not know. Anywho, we got that barn owl at probably like 1 in the morning. The favorite spot that Curtis likes to go to that I don't think has ever disappointed us. Great news. The effort's going to continue. Late May, we had booked a tour with Kenai Fjords Tours out of Seward to take a boat, see the fjords, and we got a call from the company that they canceled that trip because COVID was hitting the town, and they just shut stuff down. Well, that one part of our trip was crucial to our experience, so we canceled the whole trip. At the time, they were offering free refunds on your flights, and we were aware of that when we booked our flights, and it worked out. So we were able to get full refund on everything. Arizona's open, so brother decided to go with me to Arizona, and now we're back on track for the owl effort. If you're not familiar with Southeast Arizona, there's your little map for you. Chiricahua Mountain's over here. Sierra Vista's pretty popular here. Patagonia's pretty popular there. Madeira Canyon is right in here. If you've heard of California Gulch, that's over this area. And of course, there's all sorts of stuff around Tucson. We got into Tucson, and I didn't say earlier, I love the research part of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. I'm not the best birder. I just love the knowledge and I love the effort. We're way better birders in this room, so I really focus on research and trying to figure things out. So I knew where I had to go for each one of these owls, like almost to the tree. I made contacts, made phone calls, emails, talked to different people, and so we're going to head to, from the airport in Tucson, we're going to head down to Madeira Canyon, because that's where this guy hangs out, at least a specific individual. Northern pygmy owl hangs out. Not a whole lot different than Salvador owl. Had the privilege of hearing this one time. I've been to Arizona 3 times, and the first time I went with Curtis, and we didn't see a pygmy owl, but we got to hear one. So I knew right where to go. As far as the general area, people on site told us the exact tree, and that's the tree. And that's how well we did that particular day. So we're going to move on, and we're going to go to Florida Canyon, which is a little bit east of Madeira Canyon. And now the effort of this trip wasn't just owls. My brother's first time there. We're gonna look at everything. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna show you a few photos of some non-owls from our trip. My focus was owls though. And we got to Florida Canyon pretty much dark. And we set up a tent in the parking lot. And he went to bed. He was shot. I have a tendency to stay up way too late. He sleeps within 2 seconds. And there's owls calling. Western screech owl was calling right from the parking lot. I was able to find it when I using a flashlight at night on owls. Try to shine off to the side so you can see it's brighter down here. I try not to shine it right at their eyes, and I don't see them react poorly when I do it that way. So that's what we're doing there. It does have a meal, so that was fun. And it's not gonna work. There we go. Can you hear it? There's an owl calling in the background. And that's another one. So it's fun to watch this guy, especially with prey. So while I'm watching this one, listening to, I believe there were 2 others in the area, I could hear elf owl 100 feet away. Back when I could hear a little better. Elf owl, smallest owl, smallest North American owl. I believe it's the smallest owl, anybody?
Yes.
Verified, yes. It's considered sparrow size, although it looks beefier because its head is bigger around, but it's big and home. It is that small. So like I said, this guy's calling off about 100 feet away, easy to find. And will it work? Yes, it will. See that little. My guess was the pair was around and there were up to 3 other young. I could hear 5 different individuals calling around. Perhaps there's other adults, but that's just my impression. So that's a pretty cool first day. Next morning, we hiked Florida Canyon, saw all that it had to offer, head back to Madeira Canyon because it's on our way out. That's how well we did with Northern Pygmy Owl again. However, we got bonus Veroline hummingbird. If I'm not pronouncing that properly, let me know. But female Veroline was hanging out at Santa Rita Lodge. And that's pretty uncommon hummingbird for the U.S. We're going to head down in this general area. I don't remember exactly where, but California Gulch, pretty popular for a few of U.S.'s rarest birds. 5 stripes sparrow, buff-collared nightjar. Some of your flycatchers, the rarest flycatchers will show up in that general area. Anyone want to add anything else? But anyway, we're going to head down there. And we were fortunate to find the 5 stripes. Terrible photos, but we did see it. And I inserted this as a recommendation, a public service announcement. If you're going to drive on dirt roads like you're not supposed to in the rocky roads, do not get a Beamer. That thing had road Pirellis on it, not all-terrain tires. And as cool as it looked, or as comfortable as it was, it really did not work out that well for us. Just don't do it. Like I said, buff-collared nightjar was in the area, and couldn't get a photo of it, but we did see it fly through our flashlights. And we're literally your feet from the border down there. Way cool. And,
Are those ever in Michigan?
buff-collared? Not that I'm aware of. Birds can wander about anywhere. Is there one on Michigan record?
No.
No. Fair enough. We were warned by Border Patrol after we were there. Although that's my 3rd time there in the dark, so it didn't bother me to go, you down there in the dark? Yeah. You might not want to do that. They're everywhere down there. And by they're everywhere, he's not referring to people migrating, he's referring to drug runners and the people that are watching them. So, next time we'll just be a little more conscious of that. It's not going to go. Rabbits have tremendously big ears on there. That's pretty cool. It's hard to do video at night, right? But that was just, to me, just something.
Too cool.
I know they're common down there, but it's pretty fun. What we're doing is we're picking up this road right through here, and we're going up through here. And this area on a different map I have is just called Sonoran Desert. There is nothing out there. So we drove that way 1, 2 in the morning. We saw 7 or 8 cars, and 6 or 7 of them were Border Patrol in 2 hours of driving. We stopped and listened for nightjars and owls along the way. Nobody. really cool. But we ran into a checkpoint up here, and they stopped us and talked to us, and it was all good, and said what we were doing, okay, good. And we're gonna head into a 2-track that runs out into the wilderness here. And we got on that 2-track, and what we're gonna do is gonna go out to where we were told to go, about 5 miles in, and we're gonna camp for the night, get up in pre-dawn, and we're gonna search for ferruginous pygmy owl. Before we even got like a quarter mile off the road, we ran past another border patrol that was sitting off to the side on that 2-track, and he starts to pull out as we go by, not lights flaring, just give behind us, like pull over, just talk to him, it's all good, right? Hey, how you doing? You know, up with Bob, we chatted up for 20 minutes. He's like, I wouldn't go out there. I would advise you run up the road a little bit, not up the 2-track, but up the road here. I would stay at this campground. You'll be good there. Wait till about first light, then head in. Well, we took his advice. Got to hear great horned owl and elf owl from the campground, so that was fun. Took the 2-track in the morning. Again, we're looking for ferruginous pygmy owl, extremely small. And here's a picture I grabbed in Texas. Curtis and I were there in 2018 at King Ranch. I highly recommend going there if you ever get a chance. You got to take a tour through the ranch, take you on a van, take all the stuff you want to see. If you haven't caught on, that's what I want to do. That's the back of the owl. It's got eye spots on the back of its head, and that's why I inserted that photo. I believe it's a different subspecies there in Texas, but I couldn't tell the difference. So that was waking up at the campground, and that's our road. And as bad as it looks, it still doesn't do it justice. There was one part we had a wheel off the ground. It took us 45 minutes to go 5 miles. So it's pretty slow going. And we were there much later than we wanted to be. We passed by several different water stations that kind-hearted Americans have put out there for people moving through the area. This couple of them had a flag, so people know where to go. Some were just a water jug hanging behind a old piece of equipment or something. So it just really makes you think about what people are going through. And you see the jug right there. Got to see common nighthawk. I was hoping it was lesser nighthawk, but I don't believe it is. I would love to be corrected, but no one's done that. Anyone know what those are? Sir?
Are they cave swallows?
I wish they were.
They have great silky.
Anybody else? The bird I did not expect to see in the middle of the desert. Try again. Bird around here at the piers.
Purple martin.
There you go. Desert purple martin. So they came across this cactus with all sorts of holes, and there were several of them flying around. Did not expect that one. Didn't have really crossed our mind, but it was cool to see. So this is the area we were supposed to be. We were literally giving coordinates, not just an area, but we like go here, and we went here, and all we got was whitewash. We did have a bird fly out of one tree into another that it's one of those, like, if it wasn't an owl, I don't know what it was, but we also couldn't re-find it. So, I don't know. So we moved on. We were told another area. And we were told to avoid a tape as much as possible. But if you have to do it, don't do it in the middle of the day. So we were watching the time, and we were right before the window we were told to not do it. And we're like, okay, we tried our best. No one's out here. We hit tape, that thing instantly started responding. And we were able to locate it. Photos aren't the greatest. And you can just see the little bit of eye spot right there. Nice little barred tail. Ferruginous pygmy owl. That was pretty cool because there was no other plans to find that guy. We didn't know where to go. We'd done all the effort the whole year, that one bird, that one spot, and we were down to minutes left in the effort. We are gonna move over to Benson here. I'm gonna slaughter the name of the park. Oh, Cienega Creek Preserve. Yeah, in the Benson area. Arizona Trail, if you're familiar with the trail runs through there. And barn owl. I'd been reported the year before when my mom and I were in Arizona. We didn't have time to go look for it. Barn owl is pretty common, but it still was a lifer for me at this point. And so we're looking forward to it. And there you go. You really don't want to hear barn owl, do you? You know what it sounds like? It's a bit crazy, and if that volume is up too much, it's gonna frighten a few folks. It goes to sleep after a while. Maybe the battery just dies. If the volume's higher, it's ridiculous. But yeah, the blood-curdling scream is what it sounds like sometimes. So again, Arizona Trail runs through the area. It took us a while to figure out what bridge it was because it was a passing, regular car overpass. There was a train bridge. There was some other small one. Weren't sure which one we were on. We ended up in the creek bed. It's dry at that time of year, and finally found it. So if you really look closely, you can see it under there. No, I can't either, sorry. But it is hiding up there, up in the bridge. It was pretty neat. And that is still the only barn owl I've ever seen. Back to Santa Rita Lodge. We're going to stay the night now. Santa Rita is in the Deer Canyon, if we said earlier. And decent rooms. I recommend it if you ever get down there. In fact, I highly recommend it. Doing really well with this guy. But we got to bird more in the area and got to see one. I love animals too. In fact, if you show me a rare bird or a rare animal that I've never seen, I'd actually rather see the animal. There's just not as many, harder to find. So it was really cool to watch this guy. Actually had a little injuries going on. I'm sorry. Coatimundi. Coatimundi? Yep, remember the raccoon family, if I understand it properly. So that one bounces around the bird feeders in the area. They just happen to be down at a park a little bit down the road. Fun to watch that guy. And then another member of the raccoon family is called the ringtail, and we were told, all right, to see a ringtail, just sit out on the deck at about 9:30 at night, and it'll run across the railing. So about 9:30 at night, it ran across the railing. That's about the best I could get. Group tree gone. Done. Next morning, got up, and finally. Northern pygmy owl. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Not very exciting. Move it forward to about a minute, please. Yep. This gets really exciting, okay? You have to wait a few awkward seconds. Haven't had enough of those already tonight. Hey, boy. Oh, a little throat thing. If we're fortunate enough, it might. Maybe. Look to look. See the little eye spot there? We got half a northern pygmy owl, but I'm counting it. We're going to cross over the pass here. Pretty cool area. You ever get a chance to get down here? The birding is just, I just want to go back. Just awesome. We're gonna try for burrowing owl in, I think we were in somewhere in the middle of this area. And, not the rarest bird, but, not very common in the area. And so I'll show you a few photos of these guys, if you're familiar, in Cape Coral, around the Pelican Boulevard baseball fields. They nest around there, and they set up little rope barricades so you don't interfere with them. And they set up a little perch next to the burrow. And there were about 8 owls that day.
I got my lifer burrowing owls at the Scottsdale Community College in Arizona at the baseball fields.
Cool. You see a little young one right there? So that's 5 different owls, all from the same spot. So if, I don't think there's any reason to go to Fort Myers anymore. It's pretty much flat, but yeah, right across the water from Fort Myers, is Cape Coral, and that's where this park is. Anywho, in this general area back in Arizona, I just slaughtered words. Las Ciénegas National Conservation Area, big sort of prairie area. There's some cattle around, and there's some pronghorn around. And there was this field where there's supposed to be burrowing owl, and we ended up seeing one. Except that it wasn't. Just some sort of vegetation that sort of looked like one at 200 yards. So we struck out on burrowing owl. We're going to head down to Sierra Vista, and we're going to head to the Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary. Mary Jo Ballater ran that for years as her residence and a bed and breakfast. We met her in, my mom and I, in late April, and within a month she passed away. Southeast Arizona Bird Observatory made arrangements and had purchased the property and continued it on as she had, not as a bed and breakfast, but as a bird sanctuary. And at the time, that was one of, if not the only place in the U.S. where you're going to regularly see Lucifer hummingbird. I believe that's the one that can also be seen in Big Bend, Texas. Am I mistaken? Or is that violet crown? Anybody? One of those two can also be seen in Big Bend, but literally that house is where you go to see the Lucifer hummingbird. And we met up with these fine folks, Christy Gallo. I told her I'd put this in here for anyone who's interested. She runs birding tours, and Tim Blunt is her boyfriend. No idea if they're married yet, but he has written the book Birds of the Pacific Northwest. Great people. We ended up just chumming it up with them. We shared a meal. They told us where to go for this and that. Come to find out, they could have found us a birds and speaking owl if we needed one, because they were aware of where one was at. Good people. Backyard is just spectacular. That was my Bullock's Boreal Lifer. And there's your Lucifer. Montezuma quail. Pronunciation of Rivolis, not ravioli. Rivolis hummingbird. The name was changed from Magnificent Hummingbird not that long ago. And where are we going next? I can't remember. I think we're going to head over here. And we're going to head up to this area. Portal, Arizona. On the east side of the Chiricahuas. Drive along the way. And we get up there, we're going to stay at my brother and I say campground once again. It's middle of the night, 12, 1, 2, I don't know. He's dead tired, goes to bed, I'm listening. Whiskey Screech Owl's going. So that was pretty cool. There it was. Right from the campground. 1 a.m. apparently. And if I can get it to play, and if you watch really closely, and that's it. Yes, sir.
Oh, how do you tell the difference between a whiskered screech owl and a western screech owl?
Whiskered and western. I should have studied up on that. I think someone in the room might be able to help us along. When you're hearing them, there's a difference in the voice. One is ping pong-like, and one is something else. Help me out? Anybody? In fact, why don't we play them both since you asked? We'll go western. little bit of a ping pong action. And let's try a whisker. If you're looking at them, I believe there's a bill color difference. One's dark and one's light. And I don't remember which one's which. There's not a ton of difference beyond that. Any other comments on differentiating the two?
Do both of them have whiskers?
Does a red belly woodpecker have a red belly?
Yes.
Does anyone know the background of why whiskered screech owl? I don't either. I'll have to look that up. That's a good question. I had this blank screen in there for some reason, and I figured out in a second. Oh, I was going to play the call for you. That was my reminder to play the call for you. So you heard it great. Down in Portal, Bob Rodriguez, right in his yard, he has a little bird sanctuary. Put a couple of bucks in his little donation box. Loves to have you over. Crystal Thrasher. I had missed it on some of our one of the two other trips, so it was good to see this guy. You see the Rufus on the vent, and this is the big honking Bill. Hickories, am I pronouncing it properly? Hanging around, helping themselves to the bird bath. Went up the road to Cave Creek Ranch, where is the spot to see Blue Mountain Gem. That and the Rivolis are the biggest hummingbirds we have. They're good size. To me, they strike as almost double the ruby-throated. These guys here were down in Arizona at the same time we were. And while we did this, everywhere we stopped, we saw them. And after about 3 times, it just became funny, right? So we're good driving up the road. Here they are standing alongside the road. And what do you guys got? And you see he's looking at something. He's looking up in this tree right here, and he's got, the whiskered screech owl. In fact, there's 2. There's one right there. Wow. They're just roosting there for the day. There's the other one. We're going to drive up and over the mountain, going west, and our goal is to see spotted owl. Spotted owl is around in Arizona, but it's kind of hard to find. I've walked up Miller Canyon more times than I care to speak about, and that's supposedly where you can get them in this area. Struck out multiple times, but supposedly these guys are hanging out at Pinery Creek Campground, Pinery Canyon Campground, on the downward western slope of the mountain. And I skipped ahead, no I didn't. 2 seconds out of the car, there wasn't. So, very different than my previous experience. Spotted owl just hanging on the tree right in front of the campground parking lot. Very similar to our barred owl. In fact, I believe I've heard it's barred owl's pushing it out in some areas. Corrections on that, feel free to speak up.
Could you play its call?
Yeah. I did not hear it, by the way. They were just roosting. Spotted owl. A little bit of similarity there to barred. A little bit. It's not complete. Yeah, they were just roosting. Those are the only 2 we saw, because after a moment, Gary goes, "Hey, there's another one." And where is it in the photo? So there's one, and there's the other. So we were looking from over there, looking back at the owl. We changed positions. He puts up in the tree, and hey, there's 2 of them. So that was neat. Kind of weird, you work that hard for a bird and then just get out of your car the next time. But they said those 2 have been presenting really well for everybody. It's getting later in the day, plus we head up to Rustler Park, which is like the high point in the area. There's a campground up there at about 9,000 feet and I've had it snow on us in April. Pretty neat up there's what is the warbler? Olive warbler, I believe, hangs out up there in the snow, which is weird. It's not snowing, it's not like snow covered, but snow will come down from time to time. So he went up there, got olive owl, Steller's jay hangs out up there, and some other more northerly sounding birds. Higher elevation birds, probably more accurate. We're gonna head back down the west side of the mountain. It is pretty much dark. We're gonna listen for flammulated owl.
Could we hear the song of that one? please?
Yeah.
What is laminated mean?
Anybody?
It's got red on it like flame.
Oh, there you go. Did you hear it? Got red on it like flames, okay, maybe. So it does a single and a two-parted call. So we get in the area where these things are supposedly at. eBird has said they're on both sides of the road, several of them, not like hundreds, but a good handful. We get out of the car, and my sinuses are full, and I can't hear a thing. My brother says, there's one there,
Your attention, please.
there's one over here, and I think I hear another one there, and I think I hear another one over there. I couldn't hear a thing. So we chase after the closest one, and we're going up the side of the mountain. It's just a disaster. Terrible flashlights. It's over here. No, it's over here. We did that for, I don't know, an hour, and finally turned around, gave up, and we're lost. I've been frightened too much, but that's about the closest I've been. We're in Bear area, which generally doesn't bother me too much. Also, potential mountain lions around, which bother me more than the bears do. We're a little like, we finally got down to the road and we were way far from where the car was. In fact, we had to go, which way do we go for the car? We were that out of it. But my brother heard them. I did not. We run through Tombstone, had some fun there. We head over to the Patton Center for the Birds. Another family run that place in Patagonia, Arizona. Now it's run by Tucson Audubon. There's research done there. And that is one of, if not the only regular place to get violet-crowned hummingbird. Not a great photo, but we did see it. And now we head back down to Sierra Vista to Ash Canyon, that area anyway. And Miller Canyon that I mentioned earlier, the place for spotted owl regularly. The base of that is, what is the name of their place?
Beatty's Ranch?
Beatty? Beatty, thank you. Beatty's Ranch. Yeah, they're at the base of the canyon. You can go up around them the long way and hike up the canyon, public property, or you can pay the $5 or $10 fee they ask for to cut through their property, save the enormous walk around. Plus you get access to their multiple hummingbird feeders, at which was white-eared hummingbird, which is, I would say regularly occurs, but it certainly is not common. And there was one hanging up the canyon, which we tried hard for and missed, but we got this guy right down at their feeder house. My brother was looking for Harris's hawk, a lifer for him. Christy and what's it, Tom? I forget now. Told us right where to go. Yeah, go to this residence, this tree, look up. There you go. Easy peasy. They said, hey, did you hear about the eared trogon over in the Chiricahuas? Well, we've been off all the apps and stuff. We're like, no, but we'd love to know. If you aren't aware of eared trogon, extremely rare. And this is the general area where it's going to show up. It's going to show up in the U.S. And one showed up over here. We're going to drive back over here. But along the way, we are going to give a shot at burrowing owl, which I didn't mention was a little late when we drove there the first time. So we couldn't, it was like just could hardly see out of the corner of our eyes, so we couldn't see it. But we looked in the area where Ebert said it was, and we were fortunate to pick up Burrowing Owl for the trip. My mom and I, the year before in 2019, had been in the Tucson area, and these things just don't care. So that little dark spot right there is a Burrowing Owl. That's a little better picture. I like little culverts and stuff that I hear about on golf courses and stuff, and irrigation pipes. Anywho, yeah, we're gonna head over here, and we got there just like half hour before dusk, so we didn't have a lot of time, and there's people everywhere searching for this guy, and we missed it. Well, what do? It got to be dark, so we drove up and over the mountain to the south and back up the mountain to Sycamore Campground, which supposedly had a flame-related owl. We got up to the top of the road where it ends, and there's a young guy, he's there for the same purpose. So we teamed up. Without calling for it, I think I'm hearing it. But as I told you, my ears is kind of like plugged. And these two guys could hear better than I could, so why aren't they hearing it? I'm like, I think I hear it. And we start chasing it, sure enough. For whatever reason, I could hear it this time. And we went down the road, it's up here, up the hill. It's down there, across the road, down the hill. Let's back up there. I don't know how many times we did that. And finally I just said, I wonder, sure enough, it was above us the whole time. Sitting in the crook of the tree. Not gonna do it. You just hear it. It's doing the single call that I played earlier, and every time it calls, it's tail bobs. Flame-related owl. It was our last night on the trip. It was my last chance to get it, short of driving out to Denver or something, and heading into the mountains there. So that was a real blessing. And next morning we drove back over the mountain and gave another try. Oh, this is another video. Can't hear it, Robert, you can see it.
I think you're up to 17, is that
17.
owls, species? Let me keep score.
17.
3 I've been mentioned, and 1 I've only heard. So whatever that is, or subtracts to. We drive back over the mountain. This is gonna be our last day, my last day. My brother actually stayed on for a couple more days. Back in the Portal area, and thick-billed kingbird was a lifer for me. Someone told us right where to go, and boom, there it was. Cave Creek area, the scenery was beautiful that morning, and that was the end of our trip. Sort of. We drove away from Portal, and we'll take the back road. It was gravel road with rocks like this big, and I was doing 65. If I had a curve, it was, what do you call it? Drifting. Yeah, we're just having fun, really. And nobody's paying attention, particularly not my brother. I got in the interstate. Well, this fancy old car is giving me a brilliant image of which tire is going flat. And we weren't anywhere near anything. And I'm watching this thing. Oh my gosh. Finally, I fessed up and hey, here, look for the manual. This car doesn't have a spare. It runs on run flat tires. And it was pretty flat. I coasted in the last little bit, got to a little town, kind of a podunk kind of tire changing place. Great guy though. wouldn't change it. He said, I won't fix it either. I don't have a tire for you and I won't fix it because the last time I tried this, they made it 5 minutes down the road, the plug failed. What do? This place is just big enough to have an AutoZone. I bought an inflator that ran off the cigarette lighter, and every 15 minutes on the interstate, stopped and filled it up until I got into Tucson. And my brother's on the phone the whole time with the rental place, trying to figure out who's gonna pay for this, where do they want us to go, do we gotta get a Pirelli to match the other ones, where are you gonna find a Pirelli in the middle of Arizona? BMW dealership was like 1 hour to closing from the way we were out there. It was a mess. They authorized us to get a non-matching tire from like a Bell Tire or something like that. And he dropped me off at the airport and he went on and tried to find that Trogan, and he unfortunately didn't succeed. But that year, if you look it up, was 2020. 4 or 5 individuals were potentially cited that summer. Several of them anyway. Fortunately, we missed it. But, more COVID problems, right? Not so much a problem for us though. My family and I, just my son and my wife, are going to go on a summer vacation. We're just going to go camping before Taos or something. But we looked at the flights. Flights got pretty ridiculously cheap if you weren't paying attention back in 2020. For $250 each, we could fly out of Chicago, and we went to visit our friends in Alaska. And they run a ministry camp up in this general area, east of Palmer. And they let us stay there for free, but we did work for several days and then kind of traveled in the weekends and the evenings. And they gave us a vehicle to use, tried to help them out with some repairs and such to give back, but we didn't have to pay for a rental. And the lodging was either in a tent or at the camp. Pretty inexpensive trip. And so we had great fun up there. The camp is in this general area. Sutton Alpine, Anchorage is down here. Cool picture of their camp. They're right next to the Connect River. We did that boat tour I was talking about earlier. Wife and I think we went with the family. So we got to go check out the glaciers, and I took the van and left the family with our friends, and they all traveled back to camp, and I went over to Homer and did some birding on my own, just middle of the night stuff. By the way, you can read a book in Alaska this time of year, in the middle of the night, outside. And I've said that before, and the last time I went, I set the book down literally at 2 in the morning. I could read it from my chair on the ground at 2 in the morning. It's that bad. Pacific Rim, excuse me. Rufus hummingbird at someone's feeders, about as far north as you're going to see a hummingbird. And I just included this one. It's fun. I just like it. Most of the time, the otters they're a little skittish. Like if they're in the water, they'd stay there, but if they were anywhere near land, they want to really do that. But this guy's just hanging out, doing his thing. I went up to Denali, grizzly bear there. Actually saw several. Gyrfalcon in Polychrome Pass area. If anyone's paying attention, right around Polychrome Pass is Purdy Rocks landslide. And so that was the 3rd time I was there, and right through this area they're adding rocks to keep the road bed up. There's more to that story in a few minutes, but anyway, that area is the Falcon. Later, the following year, they shut that road down. It dropped 15 inches in one day, and it's still not repaired. I think they hope sometime next year to have some sort of bridge built over the area or whatever, because it is a popular tourist area. But fortunate enough to get through there when we did. Of course, moose in the area, and I want to see the owls. East of camp is this great area for hawk owl, supposedly. And this is a picture from Curtis back in '07.
Attention library patrons, the library will be closing in 15 minutes. If you have anything to check out, please do so at this time. Thank you.
There you go. I'm not going to try to talk about it. camp is right here. I'm gonna head out in this general area. And this is what it looks like for miles and miles. And if you're familiar with what spruce trees looks like, it looks like there's a bird sitting on every single one of those. So there's 2 owls right there. 1, 2. Oh wait, no. Okay. So it's just nonstop. Owl, no. Owl, no. I got up to this area here. It is. I stayed overnight. I was driving farther east the next morning, and I could see this sign. This silhouette crosses the road, and I've had it a couple times in life where it's something new to me or I've rarely seen that that's what it is. Not because I want to be the guy or something, just I had a deer grebe at Muskegon Wastewater. First time I ever seen one, and just with silhouette, that's an ear grebe. Sure enough it was. So this silhouette crosses the road, and I wouldn't run it by the MVRC, but it was a hawk owl in form. It was large-bodied, large-headed, pointed tail at the time. It didn't have the tail like this. Pointed wings, like you see in there. It was not like a great gray owl, big, solid-bodied, straight wings, which can also be in the area. It was not a harrier or the other hawks that are in the area, but all I can tell you is I saw a silhouette cross the road. And I got out of the car and I hiked through the thickest stuff I've ever seen. It was up to here and there's no trail. And it's like this the whole time. And I tried to get to where I thought that thing landed. And I could not find it. Just for some eye candy though, this is one Dykstra saw in 21. And if you really want to see more, you can watch his video on YouTube. His name on YouTube is Ovenbirder 98. Check out his stuff. You can see all sorts of stuff Curtis does a nice job with his videos. Now, that was in the summer. We're going to jump forward to December because I've seen everything, as you pointed out, except the winter owls, and I don't have any other opportunity to go get the winter owls. So now we're jumping forward to the winter. Someone found in a private location that wasn't disclosed along your Dowell and Ottawa County. So I got to see that along with a couple others, and that matters for what I'll say in a moment. I think it was the following weekend, I decided I'm going to head to Zach Zim Bog, that's up in this area. I'm going to get those winter owls. Got to see them. Let's see, is it pointed out now? There it is, Zach Zim. Now before I got there, I looked up on eBird, and all these boreal owls were spotted right along this stretch right here. A year or two before, and so I went there and I got no proof for you, and no pictures, no nothing. But I stopped in the area, just random roadside stop, and played call up the side of the road. And I got a response that I can't tell you what it was. I can't tell you it was a saw-whet, I can't tell you it was a boreal, but I heard it, and I was extremely close. It was right on the other side of some limb. I could not find it. I played the various tapes you can find online for boreal, and it sounded pretty close to me, but I don't know. I'd never heard one before, so I don't know what to tell you. Up to Zach Zim. It's the spot to go for great gray. Several around. A bird app at the time was being used, I think WhatsApp, I could be wrong, but was being used to notify people. And it was later shut down, like right after I was there, because it was getting so much traffic. People were being so stupid on the road. And there's plenty of residents in the area, and they're just getting teed off. Birders are stopping in the middle of the road, blocking traffic. It's 55 miles an hour through there. Side of the roads are pretty tight, so the guy who was running just shut it down. I was fortunate enough to benefit from it, though. Signs were appropriate. Sunrise and sunsets were gorgeous. Sharp-tailed grouse in the area. Canada jay in the area. They put out these carcasses for the wintering birds. Pine grosbeak in the area. I had never seen porcupine in a tree, but got to see 2 of them. That was pretty neat. All right. Anyone tell me what that is? Any guesses?
It's a
That's all I got. This thing was about a mile away, setting sun. It looked big-headed and big-bodied, and I wondered, but I don't know. And this is the way I think, by the way. Right? We're talking owls, oh, there's a sign. And you see an old squirrel. That's just kind of me. So I'm running through here. The sign was there. It made me laugh. Barn owl was in the area. And I struck out until the evening of the second day. And I happened to catch the right warning on the app. And Great Gray was several hundred yards away, but his profile is pretty distinctive. I was able to see it. And then later on the same evening, not much later on, Great Gray was seen right next to the roadside. And so I was able to get some video. One of those. No, we didn't tell him. No, fair enough. Anyway, that was not my lifer. I've actually seen one at Whitefish Point, but that's certainly the best look I've ever had. A little bit later, short-eared owl been seen, in fact several of them, and a long-eared owl been seen down in the Allegan State Game Area. See, we're getting toward the end of the year. What are we missing? I haven't photographed a hawk owl. I haven't seen a boreal owl. I may have heard one, but don't know. And I've only heard a saw-whet owl. Little photo credit for you, that same area with that short-eared. Failed.
Dun, dun, dun.
I did not get all of them that year, but I don't mind changing plans. And we are people that set borders, indiscriminate lines in the sand, and say this is one area and this is another, and this is the time and this is the dates. So I'm going to set my own dates, dang it, and I'm going to go 12 months and I get them all. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So that's why the short-eareds and the long-eareds and the other ones I saw later in the year started to matter, because the ones I saw at the beginning of the year didn't count anymore. Snowy owl reported in central part of Ottawa County. I think it was just a little south of N45. Went up to the UP in April. Someone at Whitefish Point, someone told me, hey, did you see a long-eared owl? No, I did not. That'd be great. Told me right where to go. And I've walked those woods by that bird office or whatever multiple times. I've never seen an owl there. You know, all these owls are banned all night, and I've never seen one. So that's the first one I've ever seen one during the daytime. So pretty neat. Where we go in Alaska again? Curtis calls me. Hey, let's take a trip. So we decided to go to Alaska. Flights were even cheaper. You could fly out of GR for $290 instead of Chicago. Sweet. All right. When are we going?
The library will be closing in 5 minutes. If you have anything to check out, please do so at this time. Thank you and have a great night.
When did I go to Arizona? June 6th, roughly? All right, we're going to go late May to early June. I got days to get this in. So we're going to go have some fun. Curtis has never been there. We got to see all the birds. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Get your Arctic tern, get your eagles, get your harlequins, get your horned puffins, excuse me. Get your whales on the boat ride, because you had to do that again. The young ones are only a few weeks old, we were told. Some had 2 of them. 1, 2. Go take the ride into Denali. You can see this guy splashing around in that moose was enormous. It was early in the summer, so the antlers aren't fully out yet, but this guy was enormous. That is a video, but we're going to move along. Golden eagle. That's the second time I've seen a golden eagle on the ground there. And the guy in the bus, leading the bus tour, says, I hardly ever see them on the ground. It's really rare. Later on, there's another one on the ground. Interesting. Nice fox chasing a ground squirrel. His feet are actually off the ground right here. Curtis trying to have at it with a porcupine. Now will you play? Come on. We go up to an area called Hatcher's Pass, and obviously a lot of snow on the ground yet. The pass itself wasn't open, so we're up as far as you can get. A place called Independence Mine is at the top of the road there. Anyone know what that is? Wandering cat. Yeah, shorebird. A lot of shorebirds hang out not on the shore. Maybe near some water somewhere, but not what we think of like the side of the big lake, right? Tosona Lake Lodge was a place we stopped, and I don't know why I included that. Why did I include that? I'm forgetting. Yes, we headed back out of the camp because we stayed at the camp once again and worked for the camp a bit. So we're going to drive out of the camp. We're going to go over to Fairbanks, which is much farther north. We're going to cross this intersection. At this intersection, you can go to the Denali Highway, which cuts across the center of the state there. And these are your warnings. Travel beyond this point, not recommended. We were told only 10 miles of it was paved from the east side, and we went in 20 miles and it was still paved. So that was pretty cool. And it was also 1 in the morning. You wonder where your long-tailed ducks are breeding. They're breeding out here. And the view is cool. And I've been there several times there at Alaska. The big joke is I've never seen a ptarmigan identifiable to species. I've seen a few females real quick. I couldn't tell which one it was, blah, blah, blah. I go to bed. Curtis says, "Hey, you awake?" And, "Yeah, I've been awake the whole time. And you've been snoring for an hour." He's got a ptarmigan right outside the tent. And there's a great horned owl watching the ptarmigan, ends up flushing it. Great experience. Trying to speed it up. Next morning, much better views. Willow ptarmigan. Really close. And we're going to get up to Fairbanks. Like I said, I like the research, right? So there's this guy, he's got eBird posting. His name is Jeff Walters, just outside of Fairbanks in the northwest. He's posted boreal owl at his house multiple times. I contact Fairbanks Audubon. "Hey, does anybody know this guy? I'd like to talk to him." "Oh yeah, that's Jeff. Here's his number. I get on the horn with him. "Yeah, come on over." So I'm back and forth arranging this. We get over to his house in the middle of the day. And that's Curtis, I believe, if I'm mistaken, that's Jeff. And he says, tap on the tree within seconds. If it doesn't come out, you got a problem. The last time this happened, it was late in the season like this, the breeding season. They kind of shut down and don't respond to anybody anymore. Sometimes they even think they've abandoned the nest. I just don't know. But it'll go weeks without seeing them. Well, we were in that time frame. He taps on the tree. Well, it's kind of like that tree in Arizona. So he says, just hang out in the area. I advise come back in the evening, try it out at that time. And we said, "Hey, is there a place down the road we can pitch a tent somewhere?" He said, "Just do it in the yard." We start to get the tent out. I said, "Hey, tell you what, why don't you sleep in the bus?" Anybody seen Into the Wild? That's not that bus. But the bus they use in the movie is actually at a restaurant outside of Denali National Park, which I have been seen multiple times. And this guy, Jeff, is familiar with the museum in Fairbanks, and that bus was pulled out of the wilderness because people kept going to it and dying along the way. And so that bus is in Fairbanks Museum under their care. Anywho, some free spirit had left that bus there for them, and pretty good accommodations. I can tell you that mattress up front's pretty comfortable. So we got back after doing some birding in the area. We are camped out at his deck right there. Stuff focused on the nest hole, and if I'm not mistaken, can you get that going for me? Just play it. This is Curtis's video. We don't need to play the whole thing. 12:01 a.m. I wasn't looking. That lasted what, seconds? Split second. He goes, hey, it's there. I look up, I saw blue. And nothing. Is it stopped or what are we doing? Okay. We don't need to play the whole thing, but you can actually see the flocks flying around. 8 speed. Cool. That's it. It came back 2 more times over the next 2.5 hours. At one point, we saw 2 of them flying around, and one of them buzzed their heads, not because we were doing anything, but just buzzed their heads in the area. Next morning, the guy had invited us to go ahead, use the house. I'm taking off for some bird trip, take a shower, use the bathroom, whatever. What hospitality, right? I'm on the can, taking it easy. Yes, I said that. Curtis said, hey, get out here! He found the thing roosting on a tree the next morning. And that was pretty cool. And so I had to adjust my action one more time. I got to experience all 19 owls. I did not photograph 2 of them, and one of them I only heard. And the other one was a silhouette. But best I could do. Sorry I went so long. Appreciate you.
Great.
Thanks for having me. If not, feel free to hit me up. Thanks for putting up with me, guys.
Thank you so much.